American actor Brendan Fraser got emotionally charged as the crowd gave him and his co-stars a standing ovation for his new film, The Whale. But where has he been this entire time? During the peak of his career with classic 90s hits, Fraser's sudden disappearance from the limelight has been the cause of much debate. In this video, we discover what happened to Brendan Fraser and what the future holds for him. Let's begin. First up, why is Brendan Fraser making headlines? Brendan Fraser is having his reckoning moment and the world is finally waking up. You may remember the American movie star from 90s hits like The Mummy and George of the Jungle. Now for his latest movie, The Whale, the actor got super teary-eyed when he received a 6-minute standing ovation for his performance as Charlie. As the credits started to roll during the premiere screening in the Sala Grande Theater, the audience gave the film long applause, while Fraser, along with his co-stars and director, wiped their tears away. Directed by Darren Aronofsky, the movie has been the subject of much discussion, both in terms of the plot and Fraser's comeback in the transformative role. Many have called this newfound critical acclaim Brendan's Renaissance, and congratulated him for a stellar performance. But to understand the significance of this moment and why the actor got all emotional over the recognition by his peers at the Venice Film Festival, we'll have to take a quick history lesson. No, not that far back. Let's talk about some of his early hits. Going back to the beginning, Fraser easily became a household name when he played a shaggy-haired caveman in the 1992 hit comedy California Man. The same year saw him star alongside Matt Damon in the critically acclaimed sports drama School Ties, which confirmed the fact that Brendan Fraser was born to be a star. His first major hit came from Disney's live-action adaptation of George of the Jungle, which saw the actor wear a loincloth and not much else during the entire movie. Let's face it, that movie made everyone realize they had fallen in love with Fraser. Even his muscles had muscles. But the following year, the actor proved himself as more than just a pretty face and someone with a Greek god bod when he earned incredible reviews for his dark role in Gods and Monsters, opposite Sir Ian McKellen. His ultimate claim to fame came in 1999, playing the lead role in the hit classic The Mummy. His notorious charm was put to good use, and a fantastic franchise was born. He continued to give great performances and joined the ranks of Hollywood A-listers, with hits like Looney Tunes, Back in Action, and The Quiet American. Next, why did Brendan Fraser disappear from the spotlight? Fraser mysteriously and suddenly vanished from the spotlight after gaining much popularity and fame as the lead star in multiple hit films. Nobody at the time would have guessed the reason for his sudden exit when he was at the peak of his Hollywood career. In 2018, Fraser revealed to the public that he was a victim of sexual misconduct that took place back in 2003. He claimed that the former president of the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, Philip Burke, intimately groped him. It took courage for the 53-year-old actor to talk about the revealing details of the incident, and he says it changed him, ultimately making him feel isolated, which led to becoming more reclusive. But he did confirm that it felt good to get that burden off of his chest after 15 long years of silence. The HFPA quietly launched an internal investigation to look into Fraser's serious claims, but according to the actor, they tried to brush off Burke's actions as an intended joke. But sexual misconduct is definitely not a laughing matter, least of all for the victim on the receiving end. Now, what did the investigation conclude with? The HFPA has largely remained silent about what they did or didn't find out as a result of the investigation, but ultimately concluded it on their end. They also reached out to Brendan and proposed making a joint statement that would say that while there was inappropriate behavior involved from Burke's end, it was merely intended as a joke. The organization also stated that they would like to continue to work with Fraser and that Philip Burke would remain a member of the HFPA along with being a Golden Globe voter. To them, this was the only forward-looking resolution for the matter of assault. The Mummy star refused to sign off on the joint statement and stated he didn't get the joke they kept referring to. Burke's intentions, whether they were meant in jest or not, were irrelevant in this case, since the actor felt violated by the president's actions. He also stated that the HFPA refused to share the full results of the investigation with him, or to divulge the methodology or evidence gathered that they used to draw a conclusion. Up next, how did the incident impact Fraser's career? Brendan stated that he felt stripped of his identity and angry with himself for not coming forward 15 years earlier in 2003. Ultimately, Burke received no disciplinary action for his inappropriate conduct. The father of three claimed that the incident and the impact of the resulting investigation greatly impacted his career, leaving him depressed and traumatized at a time when he was at his peak. He says that he was rarely invited back to the Golden Globe Awards after the exchange with the HFPA and felt that maybe he was just the first brick in the path. Brendan also lost out on roles and became somewhat of a Hollywood outcast, not being cast for the better part of a decade. The industry was clearly shunning him. Fraser was one of the very few male figures to come forward to talk about their experiences with abuse and sexual assault in the wake of the Me Too movement. The large number of reports of abuse coming forward stunned Hollywood and other industries nationwide. Coming up, getting cast for The Whale. Director Darren Aronofsky has been trying to make The Whale for about 10 years now, mostly because it took him 10 long years to find the perfect man for his head role of Charlie. And we're more than confident that Aronofsky eventually landed on the ideal choice to play him. He claims that he vividly remembers going to see the play by Samuel D. Hunter and knowing that he needed to meet the writer. Aronofsky stated that it was one line in particular, "People are incapable of not caring," that he just couldn't stop thinking about. And that's when he knew he had to make the movie. But then the casting for the film became a real struggle. Darren claimed that casting Charlie was a huge challenge, and he really did consider everyone, literally every single movie star on the planet, but none of them felt right for the role, and it just didn't click. A few years later, he ended up watching the trailer for a low-budget Brazilian film starring Fraser, and it was like a light bulb went off in the director's head. The rest, they say, is history. Working with Darren Aronofsky. For the American actor, being cast by the iconic director was its own claim to fame. He stated that he didn't know a single actor in his peer group who wouldn't want to work with the great Darren Aronofsky. Fraser also said that the character of Charlie is by far the most heroic role he's ever gotten the chance to play. His superpower is to identify the good in others and draw it out. We could all use some of that. Several prosthetics were needed to transform the actor into the reclusive English teacher, and he even learned to move in a new way, along with a bunch of other lessons. Getting into the mind of Charlie was both a challenge and a road to a familiar path. With his own struggle with isolation and reclusiveness following his sexual assault allegation, Brendan Fraser felt like he was going down a path he'd already gone through before, as Charlie attempts to reconnect and rebuild his life after years of grief. The tricky part was coming back unscathed. What's next for the actor? Brendan Fraser's comeback has been well received by many fans, especially since his core audience has always seemingly remained loyal and true to the actor. He's always been the unabashed, charming movie star who isn't touched by the trappings of Hollywood fame. His love for acting has always shown through his performances, and we can't wait to see what he has in store for us next. While The Whale is all but set to land an Oscar nomination, Fraser isn't sitting back to relax and has instead already filmed his next two movies. The first is a Martin Scorsese crime thriller, Killers of the Flower Moon, with Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro, and the second one is a comedy with Josh Brolin called Brothers. The future certainly looks bright for him, and here's hoping it stays that way. That's a wrap for this video. Do you have any thoughts about Brendan Fraser's life and career? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for for more videos like this. See you in the next one.